Hi folks, and welcome back to another video. This week we're going to be looking at these two particular vehicles that we've been working on. These were actually two of the first Mad Max and Apocalyptic themed vehicles that we've actually done for the collection. So I'm going to go through each one with you, if that's okay. We'll start with the one on the left, so just bear with me. So this particular model, as you can probably tell, doesn't really need any introduction. It is one of the more modern Mustang models. Now what we've done with this particular one, we purchased this one and it was just a cheap kids toy, and I think it was like a remote control or something like that, so we obviously disbanded that element to it, and what we decided to do was convert it, add new parts, and of course weather it and give it some detail. So I'll go through it with you. If we just give it a little spin round to the front to start with, just to give you an idea. So what we've got on the front here is this, which is like a little blower motor. Now the good thing about this is you can see it's very, very loose. This is actually a magnet. So you can sort of move the magnet, which is housed on top of a screw, believe it or not. So the magnet obviously stays in place on top of the metal screw, and then this is just dropped back on top as like a sort of blower motor engine, that sort of thing. So it's quite it's sort of an easy contraption to do. If we just drop it back a little bit, you can see we've added sort of scratching, weathering, and some sort of dry brushing to the front. If we spin it round to the side, what you can also see is this sort of protective meshing, which is very reminiscent on a lot of Mad Max and Apocalyptic sort of custom vehicles. And of course this is no exception. If we spin it round to the back, again you've got the sort of detailing and the weathering that we've added. It's not supposed to be rust, it's supposed to be sort of the sand element that's flicked up on the back of the vehicle, as they would do in the desert. We have this sort of plastic plate which has been added to the back. This is actually just a little part we had lying around from a monster truck model, so it's kind of interesting, but I just thought it'd look really good on the back of this. This particular plate is also added just to blank out the gap at the back of the car, and this is actually off a shaving kit, a gent's shaving kit, so that was kind of redundant, so we added that. There is kind of like a little radar part here. When I say radar, it's just a little part. I don't know if you can sort of make that out. It's sort of just been dry brushed and weathered a little bit, so we kind of pop that in there. And there are other parts that are going to be added. There are lots of sort of bits of rust and details and scratches and things like that that have been sort of added. And if you can look at the sort of wheel arch, I've done the sort of rust element, which is quite a simple process. It's just a case of flaking the paint, the bodywork paint, and then dry brushing the relevant colour, which in this case was obviously brown. But it's actually quite a nice model. It's worked out quite nicely, and this particular car was the first model that we actually did for the Apocalyptic collection that we're building very, very slowly. So that's the first one, which I'll just move out the way. And then the second one is again another muscle car. Very, very similar situation to the first one. This was a remote control kids toy, and what we've done, we've just sort of taken a little bit of time and effort just to sort of put parts on, such as the protective meshing, the window meshing. I've gone for a whole lot on this one. Every single window is sort of protected. The other thing on this particular model as well is I've taken out the headlights, which makes it a little bit more interesting. There's lots of sort of scratches and blemishes on this particular model. Again, if you just sort of have a quick look, you can see that, you know, there's lots of sort of scratches and this, that and the other. It just gives it that sort of, you know, very weathered sort of, I've been sort of out there in the desert kind of look, you know. And yeah, again, this particular car, just like the first one, is not airbrushed. It's initially an undercoat of aerosol, whether it be black or primer grey, and then as and when I've added the sort of scratches and blemishes to the model, I then dry brush them with, you know, various colours, brown, sort of sunburst yellow, that sort of thing, and even sort of chrome silver as well can be added just to give it that sort of sort of sort of bodywork look. So yeah, it's an interesting concept. Again, these are only cheap kids toys. You don't need a lot of modeling skills really to sort of achieve this. If you also like kit building, you can also go down the kit route, so you can buy the kits and do the same sort of thing, and it's quite a good thing to do with the kits. They're quite therapeutic to build kits. I used to do a lot of kits in 1/32 and 1/35 scale, so definitely worth looking into if you can't get the ready-made cars. But yeah, these are just the first two that we did. In the next video, we're going to be looking at some of the larger vehicles, some of the sort of 4x4 and off-road vehicles. So we'll highlight those in the next video. As I said at the start of the video, if you're interested in the content of these videos and you'd like to see more, please consider liking, possibly subscribing, and even commenting if you feel necessary. And don't forget to click the notification bell for when I upload new videos. Thanks for checking this video, guys, and we'll see you on the next one.